fire extinguisher. Everything front end in the car is, apart from stuff internally, is all original to the car. So we're on full original carbon suspension. All the brake drums are original, although we don't have to manage the temperatures quite so much because of the brake disc.
What is going on, guys? It is JJ here, back with a new video, and today we're going to take a look at a very, very weird and random video. I'm not sure if you guys will actually enjoy this, but it's something I kind of wanted to learn because I think it's so random. Obviously, we haven't even taken a look at how they make F1 cars, so that should probably be a video on the list. Mainly because I'm not an engineer by any means. I'm not a car engineer. I don't know a lot of the terminology and stuff associated with it. I'm learning. We are learning with you guys. But we're going to take a look at where do you buy Formula One cars. I want to know why people buy Formula One cars in the first place. Because you have the stupid money and you can. I mean, that's probably the reason. But anyway, we're going to take a look at where do you buy F1 cars. We're going to keep this intro short and sweet so we can get into the meaty details of the video. Obviously, let me know you guys' thoughts on the video down in the comments below. And if you guys want to see more things like it. Yeah, once again, huge appreciation. Thank you guys so much as well for your support on the channel. Like I said, we're going to keep the intro short and sweet. Let's get into the video. As well, guys, you can find the original video down in the description below. Go give it a look, so you can find out, same as me.
If you've ever wanted to buy a Formula One car, there's kind of two main ways you can go about doing it. The first way is to get a heritage car, you know, a car that's previously been raced on, but you're going to have deep pockets because you're going to have to go along to a private seller or to an auction and bid on the latest car that's been released by a team.
Congratulations.
Which is, that's so insane to think about. Like, what are you going to do with it? One, B, do they actually release it to you? Like, do you get to like have it on your lot, or I'm guessing for these people, multi-car garages, like, or do they just like watch you, like you're allowed to go drive it when you want, like stuff like that? Because I feel like you can't just give random people F1 cars.
Sir, 2,400,000.
Just like recently with Lewis Hamilton's 2010 McLaren MP4, which was sold for around £4.8 million.
It's gorgeous,
that amount is
though.
just for the car itself. That's not taking into account having to hire engineers and mechanics every time you want to take the car to track, and that's also to maintain all the racing parts which were built at a different time, and those parts do break down quite often. For example, a 1998 Benetton, which is currently on the market for around £500,000, has had its engine, wishbones, suspension and gearbox replaced to working racing spec. But that gearbox can only do 300 miles before having to be replaced. And the reason why the internals have such a short life...
Think about that! Only 300 miles? Also, he went straight into the details. He didn't intro it, he didn't do nothing, he went straight into the details, which I like. I kind of like that, straight to the point.
They were made to be racing cars to run at the absolute limit the entire time in a race, not worrying about the longevity of it, which means the efficiency of it isn't that great. I mean, we see that with Formula One teams changing engines during the season. That's pretty common, and it works the exact same here. There is a second option though, which is far cheaper, which is buying a show car from somewhere like Formula One Authentics, which is a full-scale replica of the real thing. And although they look the part and only cost a fraction of the price, they are only built for display and basically are just copies of the original chassis with no internal components, with a bog standard non-race winning copy that can start around £66,000. But for something like the 1000 GP Special Edition from Ferrari with Leclerc and Vettel signature, that'll cost you £630,000.
For a replica car? Also, why would you want to buy these F1 cars for $60K that have no engine in them? Did he mean they have no engine in them? Well, yeah, he said they have none of the internal components. What's the point? What is the point? Just look at a picture of it.
And that's for a car that doesn't even move.
Yeah, exactly.
However,
That's so
there is
dumb.
a third option which takes the best of both worlds. This is my mate James Densley, who's the Chief Technical Director of Tour de Force, who specialise in private ownership of Formula One cars, but make it so that you're not needing 20 mechanics around every time you want to take it to track. But this isn't a knockoff version in the slightest. They take a race-driven chassis from Formula One and convert the internals so it still has the same performance, but can last a hell of a lot longer. And they make it tailored all around you, so you're not having to fit into a seat which was moulded for someone else and then struggling to reach the pedals, but being able to switch on the car from the cockpit and so on. Plus, with an entire team who's come from Formula One to work on your custom F1 car, you know these cars will definitely pack a punch.
My backstory is a bit the same as most people. I was racing when I was a kid. and then ran out of budget to do that, so I decided to pick the tools up, and I worked my way through all the junior Formula to Formula 1, worked with Mercedes AMG Petronas, and then since then came back out of there and have been working here doing this ever since. So we
so he literally started, had his beginnings in Formula 1, decided I'm gonna go help these people who don't get to like go and do the racing and don't have the, but these people have the funds. But like essentially they're just making not knockoff or replica F1 cars by any means, but they're refitting them to fit normal people.
A modern
Let's team up together, everyone. Let's get an F1 car. F1 car for the people.
An easy
F1 car for the people
that maintains about the same sort of horsepower, and made it easy maintainable and usable for someone to own as a private car. From a buyer perspective, when they come to us, most of them generally know what they want. We can procure cars for people, so we've got quite a list of stuff we can go to and try and work out what era you want, what kind of feel you want to go for. From there, we'll start piecing the bits together. We'll get the chassis that you want in, go through all those steps from starting from the initial 3D scanning to getting engines and starting to build the car in CAD. And
if this is like a giant ad, I
Some
love
of the components that have been changed are things like the steering column, which have been changed from carbon to steel, to their own carbon brake compound to better tackle brake temperatures. But some areas are kept to what we expect from a normal Formula 1 car, for example using Pirelli tyres.
So we've got a really great working relationship with Pirelli. We work with them quite closely to make sure we can deliver a new tyre to a client as and when they want it, which is great. They are slightly different, and we can run them without blankets, which is the biggest gain for us. When you're running a car with maybe 2 people, blankets become quite a lot of work, and especially if people want to be out having a day where they're in and out of the garage quite a lot, it's a lot of work to do. This has got a 4-cylinder turbo in it. It produces the same amount of horsepower, but the service kilometres go out to 3,000 kilometres.
Instead of having to go to 300 miles. Okay, that's so sick.
Still giving the same sort of performance. To put that into perspective, a heritage car, you can look at maybe 400 kilometres maximum between an engine rebuild if it's fully original. With this, we're 3,000 kilometres. So most people's necks fall off before you get to 200 kilometres in a day. So over 3,000 k's, you get quite a lot of life out of the car. So this particular car is a client car. It's off to the west coast of the USA very shortly, actually. Rear end wise, everything from here back is all our own, apart from all the aero devices. For most clients, they don't really see the benefit from it because they're not trying to overtake other people. But yeah, generally it's quite fixed, although we do have different options. So we have a Monza version for this wing.
Okay, but where do you use it for? They're gonna send it off to the West Coast. What is this guy gonna use? Is he just gonna drive it around like his own private place? It's so insane to me.
In this car, this is our V1 sort of shakedown steering wheel, if you like, which is one that we're using here for development. We've got an overboost because the car's obviously a turbo, so various different map settings that we can change, and then on the back clutches, which will be something that from a client point of view takes a little bit getting used to because they're on the hand, and then gear shifters for up and down. Cockpit, quite conventional for F1, but we've tried to simplify it with a few less bits and pieces. This side is our main switch box for the driver, so we've got a P0 to P1 switch and then a P1 to P2 switch. And it's slightly different to an F1 car. We've got a start switch down here, so the driver can start the car on board. And then on this side, we've got some switches for brake bias. We've got a switch for the rain light, gearbox, and the fire extinguisher. Everything front end in the car is, apart from stuff internally, is all original to the car. So we're on full original carbon suspension. All the brake drums are original, although we don't have to manage the temperatures quite so much because of the brake disc. And all of this stuff goes through a full NDT process, the same as it would do with F1. And everything is lifed. So this is the more fragile end of the car and the more delicate end, but everything is proven to do the mileage that we say it will do. So pedals in this car, essentially the same spec as they were in the day.
This is essentially a gigantic ad for their versions of road legal, not road legal, of F1 cars people can buy. Which, you know what? I'm biting into it. We need an F1 car for the people. Everyone, someone drop a Venmo in the chat. Everyone donate to that Venmo. We couldn't if we even wanted to. I bet you these cars are worth like 1.5 million, like $1 billion. Mr. Beast could though. Everyone reach out to Mr. Beast. Tell him to buy an F1 car for us, for the people.
Made from aluminium
Everyone will meet up at the same track. We'll all drive this
more
car.
Durable, lasts longer.
Which would
again, this
sick,
is another area.
Crash it immediately. I crash it for the people.
So whoever comes to buy the car,
Socialism car.
Changing in size, width, pedal pads for different feet positions. The only issue we struggle with is driver height. because bigger feet don't fit, like George Russell found out last year. But yeah, it's another like quite intricate part of the car that people don't get to see, but is also completely custom to the driver.
But yeah,
Slightly
that's-
different with this
that's
compared to the
awesome.
molds that you'd normally see. So we take full 3D scans from inside the chassis and build this seat out, which is built to a human body shape inside, quite a large human body shape, so that allows us to do seat fits into this shell. Or if you're slightly bigger and not like any of the current F1 drivers who are all tiny, gives you a bit more room to sit in the car, and again, it's fully
to actually
customizable,
enjoy
so
the
all
racing
the
part.
coverings can be changed for whatever fancy colours you want, and likewise we'll then mould the seats to suit each driver.
Building the car is one thing, and for most private sellers and auctions, that's pretty much the end of the road. But with TDF1, they then go into a full rig and simulation test. They'll take the car to a
Really?
local track to have a full private session to do a full shakedown, to fully ensure the car is working correctly, going through a full setup program.
We rig test with a partner of ours, so we make sure the car is running in the same sort of window, and aerodynamically
How much
we
does
haven't
this
touched
cost
it.
them?
We've
They-
got
they
really
must
good data
obviously
from the
recuperate
car
a lot of
originally. So we
funds.
try to run in that same window. The things we have to change mainly are to do with tyre, because we run on a slightly different tyre, still a Pirelli, but it's not the same tyre running.
It's like a racing
So we have
tyre,
to
yeah.
compensate for things like that. Camber changes slightly, ride heights change slightly, and we make it more friendly for an end user, so they don't have to worry about being right on the limit with the car. They're just another level. The aero is insane, just the outright grip that the car has. They're quite peaky, but that's why we work from this program to be able to bring people through to that. But they just blow your mind. They're like nothing else.
And that is the TDF1 program, and I'm assuming all of you are thinking the same question. How much does this cost?
Where can I
So for
find
TDF1,
one? Is what I want.
as this sits here, they start at 850,000. Everything is customizable on the car, so you can kind of go as mad as you like. From a heritage side, they're slightly different, and they vary depending on whose car and what the history is like, and whether it's full original. And
I don't even care. I don't even care. I want one. We need socialism car for the people. You guys are hearing it here first. If I would ever one day become a big YouTuber, I'm buying the people an F1 car. We are driving the F1 car together. I don't care how big you... imagine they actually got asked to make a custom F1 car for 100 that could work and drive for 100 different people. But yeah, obviously, let me know your guys' thoughts on this video down in the comments below. Let me know when we are buying our F1 car together, and we will get it done. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you guys later.